Oh, Aloy. Talana came through a little while ago. She headed for that, Oseram camp you two were looking for, to the southwest. Aloy, everything okay with you and Beta? It sounded like you guys had a,
We just had a lot to
Does this mean she's coming with us to Gemini?
It does. I hope you're ready to rein in the most stubborn AI of all time.
That's what all this was for, wasn't it?
Hephaestus won't go down quietly.
Hephaestus is just a program that's lost its way. We are fighting for our survival. I can always call upon the goddess if you're nervous.
Funny. How does everyone seem to you?
Anxious, but ready. I heard Katalo ask for Alva's help with his pulse generator. And I know he's been helping her with a few fighting techniques, just in case.
I hope they aren't needed.
Like I said, just in case.
I'm guessing Talana didn't stay for long?
You got that right. Makes you wonder what this Amadis guy did to grab her attention.
Whatever it was, she didn't tell me.
Must be quite a story.
I guess she'll tell us when she's ready. Any last findings you want to share before leave?
Not really.
Oh?
When we put Gaia together, I want to return to the Nora, spread what I've learned.
You think they'll listen to you?
In time, I believe so.
If anyone can make it happen, it's you, Varl. This mission isn't gonna be... Hope you haven't been slacking off on your training.
And risk Zoe coming after me? I value my life. At least you found the Omega clearance. That should help.
Wish that was the only thing I found. I knew finding Thebes would lead me to Ted Faro, but... I never imagined he'd end up like he did.
How bad was it?
Bad.
He destroyed the world and crawled into a hole after killing those who saved it. If you ask me, he deserved whatever he got.
That he did. It's good to see you and Zoe enjoying yourselves.
We're learning a lot. I've actually been looking through the data to find ideas for a gift, and to thank her for helping me study the glyphs. Something from the old world that she's never seen before. Instead, I found out they gave each other stuffed animals. If you ask me, stuffing a dead animal with anything, really, doesn't sound like a good time for anybody.
Maybe Gaia can help you find something else. I hope Zoe's not upset I'm distracting you from your training.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that.
What do you mean? What happened?
Well, before Zoe found a way to fix the land gods, I suggested that when Gaia was fully restored, she could just make new ones.
Well, once we get Hephaestus, that's definitely a possibility.
That's what I said, but I guess there was something about my tone she didn't like. She got pretty raw, said I didn't understand the way her tribe feels about those machines. Which is true, of course, and the last thing I'd ever want to do is dismiss their traditions. But I was trying to look at things differently. More like you know? To see a machine as just a machine.
Yeah, I guess I led you into trouble there, didn't I?
Not your fault. Don't worry.
Did you talk to Zoe after your fight?
I suffered through a few hours of glaring silence. Then she seemed to move on. Sort of. How do people do this? How do I know if the next thing I say won't blow up in my face? What if an apology is not enough next time?
You give her a stuffed animal?
You're the worst. You know that?
What makes you think I know anything about any of this? You're on your own.
Abandoning me again, huh? Well, if she kills me next time, it's on you.
Once Gaia is back up and running, I expect you to put all your training to good use.
The seeds have been planted. All they need is a chance to bloom. What? I thought that was pretty good. Zoe liked it.
I'm glad you and Zoe found each other.
Don't forget, you're to blame for that.
What will you and Zoe do if you go back to the Embrace.
I hope she'll come with me. At least for a while. And I'll go with her to Plainsong too. She'll probably want to talk to her people about all this as well. We'll figure it out.
I know you will. I'm glad you're coming with me, Varl.
Sure there's no urge to run off alone in there somewhere?
No more running. Hey, I thought I'd check in before leaving for Gemini.
Are you sure we shouldn't be checking up on you? Whatever went on between you and Beta sounded intense. Not that I'm judging. Forge knows all the screws flew loose every time Mercer and I fought.
I think we'll be fine from now on.
I'm glad to hear it.
How are things with Kotallo? You still scared of him?
Oh, she thinks she's funny. Actually, I played strike with him. I had to fill in most of the conversation myself, but I'm still alive.
Glad to hear it. Have you spoken with Alva yet?
Yeah, when she's not reading the archives like a giddy kid drinking her first ale. She took to that new focus quick, that's for sure. I gotta say, I'm a little jealous. But I can see why you two hit it off.
Anybody take you up on that ale you brought yet?
Zoe can't stand the smell of it. I tried Alva, but I don't think she knows what taking a break means. And I'm not putting Varl anywhere near that stuff after that victory party in Meridian.
What about Kotallo?
Ah, now there's a man that can hold his liquor. Pretty sure we downed half a keg. We had a good chat, I think.
What's wrong with your shoulder?
Yeah, it hurts a little. Yeah, maybe a lot.
What'd you do?
Well, I tried to arm wrestle with Kotallo.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't such a great idea.
I was just curious to see if that new arm of his was as strong as it looked. Turns out it really is.
So Talana came by the base?
Yeah, more like rushed through. I was hoping she'd stay for a drink at least. Only Carja I've ever met who's any fun. But it seemed like she had more pressing matters to attend to.
You look tired.
Ha! You never want to hold back, are you? I've just been making sure that I got everything down for this mission of yours. I wouldn't want to be the usual screw-up out there.
You'll do fine, Erend. After we get Hephaestus, we'll be taking the fight to the Zeniths. So, no more reading.
It wasn't that bad. Not really. Besides, going through all that data helped me realize something. You know, the soldiers, the ones that fought the Pharaoh machines so Gaia could be built, they were fighting a battle that couldn't be won. Not with all the... I think most of them realized that, whether they still did it, though. They bought time for hour. As long as I can do that for you...
Thank you, Erend.
Yeah, okay, enough. I'm gonna get emotional.
Bet you're used to that focus by now.
Well, I can hit machines in their weak points. I guess that's something. I wish all the other data was as easy to deal with. Now, to be honest, it's hard to understand half of what's on there. And then the other half reminds me, this isn't a fight you can win by just waving a hammer. Which is kind of what I do. But hey, that just means I gotta study harder. Make myself useful.
Just give it time. You've been looking at any interesting data?
I asked Gaia to find me something to look at a while back. And she found the mother of all forges. They called it. Turns out the old ones spent a lot of time tackling and punching each other for points in one game or another. Are you mixing some solid food and fresh ale? I bet half the claim will be lining up to watch.
I should go.
Same here. I got a date with a cauldron to prepare for.
You're back. Good. Before we talk, I wanted to give you this. For helping me heal the land gods. Plainsong is in your debt.
Thank you, Zoe.
You deserve much more for all you've done. May the land always bloom in your steps.
And Yours? Sounds like you met my friend Talana.
Yes. The Karja Huntress. I haven't seen armor like hers since the Red Raids. But Varl tells me that she too suffered at the hands of the Mad Sun King.
Yeah. She's one of the good ones. Trust me. You look like you have something on your mind.
We're going to war soon. And war is something I promised myself I'd left behind in the Red Raids. But the more of your data I go through, every voice I hear, every word I read from our ancient past, it makes me realize just how much life was given so that ours could flourish. Fighting for that gift, it's our responsibility. If we fail, it was all for naught.
Helps to know you're not alone.
For a moment there, you sounded like Varl.
I don't know what you're talking about. Found anything else combing through that data?
Varl and I have been looking into the animals of the... Apparently they're used to... Can you imagine? I'd give anything to see them. Though I know that without Artemis or Apollo, that may... At least I can find comfort in knowing Gaia was inspiration for her machine, her memory honor.
How to go with the chorus after we fix the land gods?
They were shocked when I told them that our lands would soon be on the mend. I thought Fane's eyes would pop out of his head. But of course they had no choice but to take it as good news, even if it meant all their preaching about meekly accepting our doom was exposed as rot. To be honest, I found the conversation to be highly enjoyable.
I'm glad. You deserve it. They're lucky that you never gave up on saving them. What are you going to learn next?
I'm not sure. I asked Gaia for suggestions, and she brought up the museum. From what I gather, the old ones would store knowledge in them. Like you've done here. Maybe one day more...
That sounds... It looked like you were
Just checking up on how... And to think,
Already set up.
Your friend thought it'd be a good idea to replace the land gods.
It wasn't.
They are not some broken toy to be thrown away. Even if they are just machines doing... To abandon them in their time of suffering seems...
I'm sure Varl
He does now. I had to get pretty mad at him at first, though.
You know I can hear you guys, right?
Read anything interesting?
I found out apparently it helped that and some cleanse their or... Me, I think.
Learn anything interesting lately?
There's been much to read up on now that Ether has been It's hard to imagine that machines like Stormbirds once helped heal the skies. I used to be terrified of them as a child. Thunder still... But everything Gaia creates has a purpose.
Yeah. And if we can get a Varl looks pretty...
He's been obsessing over the data revealed to us by Poseidon. Just the other day, we read about mountains hiding deep underwater that spew fire. If I understand correctly, Gaia said the flames they release come from the very center of the Earth. Like a heart, beating with the life of the world, as always. This, of course...
I assume you've been looking into Demeter now that Gaia's merged with it?
Yes. It's been humbling to know that the seeds I carry in this pouch came in turn from the seeds saved for Demeter in the old... It gives me hope that the cycle of life will prevail now, just as it...
I should get going.
We'll be waiting to embark on our mission.
Aloy, do you have a moment? Aloy! I'm glad you're here. I wanted to give you this for helping me get the data on Leviathan. I didn't really know what to give you, so I asked Zoe what you might like.
Thanks, Alpha. I'll put it to good use. Have you looked through the data we recovered on Leviathan?
There is much to sort through still, but I believe we'll be able to get it operational and turn back the floods. And I've given more thought to everything we've uncovered about the ancestors. The Overseers would have us believe they were infallible paragons. But Pharaoh wasn't. Not even close. His greed led to machines that devoured the world. The archive of the Old One's knowledge destroyed. So, I started to think, but in the end, the truth isn't a straight line, it's a splatter. I wish more Quen could see that. Or twisting the truth to
I doubt Bohai would agree with you.
No, nor the rest of the board. As Eileen said, it's easier to believe, but it's worth fighting for. And this diviner, at least, won't settle for anything less.
Have you spoken with Zoe?
A little bit, but I did hear her singing with Varl not too long ago. I don't think they noticed. Zoe seemed so free when she did it. Like every emotion she had was taking flight in song. And she looked happier because of it. I felt so dull and nervous in comparison.
You should ask Zoe to teach you sometime. About Utaru music.
Maybe.
If you need anything before heading out to the cauldrons.
You have nothing to worry about. Gaia's explained your plan in detail, as expected from such an efficient AI. I've even received some very, succinct combat advice from Kotallo. You know, in case the Zeniths show up.
What kind of advice?
He, told me to run.
For now. We'll even the odds soon enough. Anything new around here?
Kotallo showed me the schematics for his new arm. I recall reading about robotic limbs within the Legacy, but I never thought I'd see one in action. Technology like that would be treasured back home. Think of what it could do for injured workers or soldiers. But knowing the Imperial family, they would use it for different purposes. Their own.
Replacing body parts as they grow older. Like the Zeniths.
Exactly.
I see you've been using your new focus.
It's been fascinating. So much better than the version the Quen have. What would have taken me years to sort through, like the database you helped me recover, with this, I've been able to establish search parameters to speed up the process. This could revolutionize how diviners analyze the Legacy. That is, whatever part of it the Overseers would actually.
You wanted data, you'll find lots of it here.
A diviner has never had this, and knowing you, but I was sent. Maybe it'll.
Any more?
All of it? I'm particularly interested in the Odyssey. We knew the ancestors had made it to the moon. In fact, we theorized some of them had settled, but Sirius is way, and we thought journeying across the ocean would be the feat. The sheer calculations needed for space travel. It's overwhelming.
Even so, where I grew up, from a fire lit by the goddess. You mentioned
The Zenith who tried to kill you? He is known to the Quen and combing through data related to weapon, knowledge. That's why he's. But it appears he's yet another
Well,
If
Beta mentioned.
whatever.
I think that about covers.
Great.
Is it me or did the old one? Funny how? Weird. They're so tight.
The ones I'd have to agree.
I can read this later.
Looks like this room's changed. Is that your doing, Gaia?
Yes. I have repurposed the displays to track the cauldrons you...
Where'd Katalo go?
That can't be real. Can it?
They set up a camp there as well, I see. Excellent. You've returned.
Must be strange.
I can see machines like never before. Their strengths and weaknesses, simply to think that such a tiny object might be the most powerful weapon I've ever...
What do you think of this place? It must take some getting used to.
It's an efficient center of operations, and an acceptable training facility. Though it could use some more... color.
Duly noted. Anything interesting happen while I was away?
I found an acceptable place to practice with my blade.
Oh, and where's that?
Outside, above the base. There's a nest of sunwings that are always up for a fight.
Ever thought of sparring with something that's not trying to kill you?
That would defeat the purpose of the training.
Found anything interesting during your training?
Gaia told me where to find data on how wars were waged in the old... I knew the Ten fought against machines, but it seems they were among the last. Later, machines battled other machines on... as they... at least the Tenakth.
There is no bill.
Yes.
How are your studies going?
I wanted to learn more.
And?
I looked up this pharaoh Gaia said you went looking for, and learned about the plague of machines he unleashed. To think that the ancient world was... There is no glory or honor in such...
That about sums it up. I heard my friend Talana came by the base. Did you get a chance to meet her?
Briefly. A bold woman, going into Tenakth territory with that Karja armor of hers. She'll be lucky if my people don't shoot her on sight.
She'll be careful. She's just looking for someone who might need her help.
Whoever it is, they better be worth dying for.
You nervous about the mission ahead?
If I live, it will be in victory. If I die, it will be in battle. What matters most is that you achieve your objective.
I'll do my best. Anything new going on I should know?
The Quen has been more insistent than usual, asking about her pursuit of knowledge is relentless. The Ten would have a hard time fighting her off.
Just think of her like one of your chaplains.
Yes. Only more persistent.
Think you're ready to put all your training?
I am Tenakth.
Getting Ether out of the Grove made for quite a...
One that showed the entire tribe that Hikaro's mission for peace is... for it is now blessed by the Ten.
Anything else you've been looking at with that focus?
Gaia showed me the... knowledge you recovered out in the desert. I am no chaplain, but I'd be curious to test if something I read is true.
What is it?
The Old Ones believed one could hear the great waters, even in the middle of the desert, if you carried the carcass of a water animal with you. They called them seashells.
That sounds... I bet people are curious about that new arm of yours.
None more than our Quen ally, I assure you. She couldn't wait to take it apart and figure out how it works. I gave her the data I used to build the thing, hoping that would satisfy her curiosity instead.
Good luck with that. I should go get ready.
I will sharpen my blade.
You made it back.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
I am. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
So how goes studying up on...
Guy and I have added a function that will display a holographic interface to visualize the data stream from Hephaestus. It should make expunging its malicious code a little more efficient.
That's great. Whatever we can do to cut down the merge time is going to increase our chance of success. Good work.
I'll continue to search for other ways to speed up the process. But whenever you're ready, I am too.
Have you had a chance to get to know everyone upstairs?
Oh, a little. I haven't gone up there very often. But Varl comes down here sometimes to talk. At first I thought he only wanted to know about my productivity, but I think he actually wants to talk to me. I think he might even be a friend.
Yeah. I think he is. Have you talked with anyone else in the base?
Yes, although most of the time I talk to Gaia. Sometimes I even forget that she is an advanced AI. Whenever we have a discussion, she asks my opinion on the subject. I didn't expect that.
That's all thanks to Elizabeth. She believed Gaia had to care, not just follow her programming orders.
Yes and no. It was Elizabeth's directive, but Gaia thought for herself. Modified her own code.
She became her own person.
In a way. Yes.
So aside from Varl and Gaia, who else have you been talking to?
Zoe told me how you met, after your escape from the Hades Proving Lab. I had no idea you were severely injured.
If it wasn't for Varl and Zoe, what matters is they helped me, and I recovered. Right?
Right.
You said you and Varl talk sometimes. What about?
He told me about your tribe, the Nora, and the proving ritual you did. I told him if I was born into the tribe, I'd never be able to do the proving.
It'd take a lot of physical training, but I bet you could do it.
No, no. I'd be more interested in studying artifacts from the old world. Or the bunker door in All Mother Mountain.
Well, the Nora would make you an outcast for that.
Well, then I suppose we'd be outcasts together.
Alva's joined us. Have you two had a chance to talk?
She told me she's not allowed to access a lot of the data her people have. Similar to the restrictions I had in my training interface. I told her that if we succeed at Gemini, then once we return, I'll help her search for more ways to help her family. Even though Gaia will fix the biosphere, it'll take time for farmlands to fully recover. So, I want to help speed things up.
How so?
Bioengineering of more resilient plant strains, novel crop production methods, equipment upgrades. Something that might help in the short term.
I'm sure she'll appreciate it. So when you talk to the others, are you calling them over the focus?
No, they'll come down here to visit. Like Erend. He's funny, but loud. I wish I could show him the media portal and the data channel. I think he would like the sports hollows. There was one where two people would criticize each other before wrestling to see who was stronger. It was bizarre and violent, but I think Erend would enjoy it.
Yeah, you're right. I bet he would. So this secret virtual space looked like a house with an ocean view?
I could see whitecaps and hear waves crashing on rocks below. And there were gulls crying outside. Inside, Tilda had frames that showed off her favorite paintings, changing at intervals to match the light. There was an armchair she liked. She'd sit there and gaze outside while I looked through her things. We spent hours in that house. I never wanted to leave.
I'll be going now.
Okay. I'll be right here.
I just think you talked to her. You would too. if you
Welcome back.
There we go. More data for the dome.
An excellent choice.